buckle up, everyone, because we are diving headfirst in all the craziness that is CES 2025.
Yeah, it's always a wild ride.
It really is, and this year is no exception, especially after NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang just blew the doors off the place with his keynote.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, he was talking about everything from insanely powerful graphics cards to robots learning like they're straight out of the Matrix.
And don't forget the supercomputer you can just have sitting on your desk.
Right, a supercomputer. So today we're going to break down all the biggest announcements and try to figure out what it all means for the future because...
Because let's be real here, NVIDIA is basically shaping the future of tech.
No doubt about it. So let's jump right in.
Okay, so first up, I gotta ask, what did you think of Wang's whole pitch on physical AI?
You know, I got to be honest with you. When I first heard that term, I was like, okay. Is he talking about like robots doing CrossFit or something?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can see how that'd be confusing.
And then as he kept talking, I started to get like, this is some next level stuff.
Yeah, physical AI is basically the bridge between the digital world and, like the real world.
Right. So instead of AI just like crunching numbers and recognizing faces, it can actually like interact with physical objects.
Exactly. AI that can reason, plan, and actually act on stuff in the real world.
Like robots that can learn and adapt on the fly instead of just blindly following their programming.
Bingo.
So we're talking about robots that could do things like, I don't know, maybe perform surgery or build a house or even just fold laundry.
All of that and more.
I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Exactly. It's like AI is finally breaking free from the digital realm.
Okay, so how does NVIDIA plan to actually make all of this physical AI stuff happen?
Well, they unveiled some seriously impressive hardware, starting with their new GeForce RTX 50 series graphics cards.
Oh yeah, those things are absolute beasts.
Yeah, they're built on this brand new Blackwell architecture, which is like a total game changer.
And for the hardcore gamers out there, they've got the RTX 5090 coming in at $1,999.
Which, yeah, it sounds like a lot, but...
Yeah, but that's kind of the standard price for their top-of-the-line cards.
Right, and it's actually a steal when you consider the performance you're getting.
But for those of us who, don't need quite that much power, they've also got the RTX 5070.
Coming in at a much more manageable $549.
So what exactly makes this Blackwell architecture so special?
So basically, it's not just about cramming more transistors onto the chip. It's about fundamentally redesigning how the entire GPU works.
Okay, I'm listening.
So they've made some major improvements to parallel processing, which is basically the key to handling all these crazy complex AI workloads.
So basically, these cards are built to not only power the most insane graphics you've ever seen, but also handle the massive demands of physical AI.
You got it. And one of the things that really blew me away is how these new GPUs are going to revolutionize the way games look and feel.
Oh yeah, how so?
They're going to be using AI-driven rendering techniques, which can create some seriously mind-blowing levels of realism and immersion.
So we're talking about games that look so real, you can practically smell the gunpowder and feel the sweat dripping down your face.
You're getting the idea. But, NVIDIA isn't just focusing on gaming here. They're thinking much bigger.
Right. They were talking about training robots in the metaverse, too. I think they called it NVIDIA Cosmos or something like that.
Yeah, NVIDIA Cosmos. It's like a whole platform for training AI using these crazy detailed simulations.
Yeah, so instead of letting a self-driving car loose on the streets and hoping for the best, they can run a million simulations in the metaverse and make sure it's actually ready for the real world.
Exactly.
And this all ties back into physical AI, right?
Absolutely. By training these AI in virtual worlds, NVIDIA is essentially teaching them how to navigate and interact with the complexities of the physical world.
Okay, so all of this is pretty amazing. But it also sounds like it takes a ton of computing power to actually pull off right.
You're not wrong.
I mean, we're talking about training AI models that can control robots in the real world that can't be easy.
And that's where Project DGETS comes in.
Okay, so Project DGETS, this is the compact supercomputer we were talking about before, right?
Yep. It's launching in May 2025 for, get this, just $3,000.
$3,000 for a supercomputer.
Right.
That sounds too good to be true.
All right. But it's real. And what it means is that anyone from a small startup to an individual researcher can potentially have access to the kind of computing power that used to be reserved for massive corporations and government labs.
So we're talking about democratizing AI development.
Exactly. Putting the power of AI into the hands of anyone with a good idea and a desire to make a difference.
This is starting to sound like something straight out of Star Trek.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, even though Project Digits is incredibly powerful, it's not going to completely replace cloud computing.
Okay, so what can it do?
Well, there are still some things that require the massive resources of the cloud. Like if you're working with absolutely gigantic data sets or you need to collaborate with people all over the world.
Right, that makes sense.
So think of Project Digits as like another tool in the toolbox, a very powerful tool, but not the only tool.
I like that analogy a lot.
So, we've talked about gaming. We've talked about training robots in the metaverse. We talked about this crazy powerful supercomputer. But NVIDIA didn't stop there.
They didn't. What else did they have up their sleeves?
Well, they also made some major announcements about their work in the automotive industry.
You mean like self-driving cars?
Yep. They announced partnerships with both Toyota and Mercedes-Benz to develop their Drive Hyperion AV platform, which is essentially the brains behind self-driving cars.
And this all runs on their super advanced AGX Thor chip, right?
That's right. The AGX Thor is a beast of a chip, and it's designed to handle all the complex computations needed for safe and efficient autonomous driving.
And Huang even said that self-driving cars are just the beginning of a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity in robotics.
Yeah, which is a pretty bold statement.
It is, but then again, NVIDIA has a pretty good track record when it comes to predicting the future of tech.
I'm inclined to agree.
Okay, so one last thing that really caught my attention was Huang talking about a ChatGPT moment for robotics.
Ah, yes, the ChatGPT moment. I think everyone's been waiting for that.
Right, because remember how ChatGPT came out of nowhere and basically blew everyone's minds with what AI could do with language?
Yeah, it was like suddenly everyone was talking about AI and the possibilities seemed endless.
So is Huang saying that we're about to see the same kind of explosion of creativity and innovation, but this time in the world of robots?
That's exactly what he's saying. He believes that we're on the verge of a similar breakthrough, where robots will become much more intelligent, much more adaptable, and much more capable of interacting with the world around them.
So we're talking about robots that can do things like provide personalized healthcare assist with complex manufacturing tasks, and even, maybe just be our friends.
All of that and more. The possibilities are truly mind-boggling.
It all sounds pretty amazing, but I know there are some critics out there who are saying that NVIDIA is overhyping all of this physical AI stuff.
Oh.
What do you think? Is this really a paradigm shift, or is it just clever marketing?
Well, it's definitely an ambitious vision.
Yeah.
And it's true that some of the stuff is still in the early stages of development.
Right.
But the building blocks are all there. And NVIDIA is investing heavily in the hardware, the software, and the partnerships needed to make this vision a reality.
Plus, with tools like Project Digits becoming more accessible, we could see some really incredible breakthroughs coming from all sorts of unexpected places.
Exactly. I think the real question is, what are you going to do with this technology when it becomes available?
That is a great question. So everyone listening out there, if you had access to a device like Project Digits, what would you create? What problem would you solve? The future of technology is wide open, and NVIDIA is handing us the key. So let's see what amazing things we can build together.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This is just the beginning, folks. Buckle up.
It's going to be a wild ride. Okay, so like everyone, I spent the last week glued to CES 2025 coverage.
Oh,
And I got to say, I think my brain is still kind of buzzing
I hear.
from all the amazing tech. But out of everything, all the flashy new gadgets, there was one presentation that really stuck with me, and that was Jensen Huang's keynote.
NVIDIA CEO.
Exactly, the CEO of NVIDIA. And, I think a lot of people know NVIDIA for their graphics cards and things like that. But
Gaming, right?
gaming, yeah. But Huang's keynote, it wasn't just about the latest and greatest GPUs. He was painting this picture of a future where AI is as fundamental to our lives as, like, I don't know, the internet is today. It's going to be everywhere. It'll touch everything. So we're going to do a deep dive into some of his key predictions, unpack what they mean, and hopefully, figure out how it's all going to impact us, you and me.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, so one of the things that really jumped out at me was how Huang talked about AI evolving beyond just, recognizing things. I mean, we're all used to AI that can, identify a cat in a photo or translate languages.
Right.
But Huang was talking about AI that can create.
Yeah, it can make stuff.
Yeah, like write a poem.
Right.
Or compose a piece of music, or even design a whole virtual world.
Like generative AI,
Yeah, that's the term he kept using, generative AI.
Yeah.
So
It's huge.
yeah, so I mean, just to be clear, we're not just talking about AI that can caption a photo anymore.
Yo, no.
We're talking about AI that can create art and music and literature.
Yeah, and even code, right?
Whoa. I mean, that's like mind-blowing. So how does that work? I mean, how does AI go from recognizing a cat to like composing a symphony?
Well, I mean, at a basic level, it's all about patterns. These AI models, they're trained on massive amounts of data, like huge data sets of text, images, music, code. And they learn to recognize the underlying patterns and structures in that data. And then they can use that knowledge to generate something new, something original, but that still reflects those underlying patterns. So like an AI trained on a bunch of Mozart could then compose something that sounds like Mozart, but is still completely unique.
Oh, I see. So it's like the AI is learning the rules of the game, and then it can start playing the game itself.
Exactly. And this ability to create, it's not just cool, like from an artistic standpoint.
Right.
Huang sees it as a crucial step towards what he calls physical AI. AI that can reason and act not just in the digital world, but in the real world too.
So like robots that can actually, I don't know, understand and interact with the world around them.
Exactly, like robots that can make decisions.
And solve problems, yeah.
Yeah, and even learn and adapt on their own. And this brings us to another big announcement from Huang's keynote, NVIDIA Cosmos.
Oh, yeah. Cosmos.
Yeah.
This sounded like something straight out of, I don't know, Star Trek or something.
Yay, I know.
Like the whole virtual universe. What is it exactly?
Okay, so imagine a giant, super realistic video game. But instead of humans playing, it's AI. Robots, self-driving cars, all sorts of AI agents learning and evolving in these virtual worlds.
So like a training ground for AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a safe space for AI to experiment, to make mistakes, to learn from those mistakes, all without any real-world consequences. Because let's face it, training AI in the real world, it's expensive, it's time-consuming, and sometimes it can be dangerous.
Right. I mean, imagine a self-driving car learning to navigate a busy intersection.
Oh, yeah.
In the real world, that's like a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. So Cosmos allows us to train AI in these super realistic simulations so that when they do get out into the real world, they're ready for anything. I mean, think about it. A self-driving car can experience millions of miles, countless scenarios,
Yeah.
all different weather conditions, all within Cosmos before it ever hits the actual road.
So like a virtual driver's ed for AI.
Exactly. But, you might be thinking, okay, but how do you make these virtual worlds so realistic?
Yeah, that was my next question. I mean, it can't just be like, some basic graphics. It's got to be really detailed. Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's where these things called generative world foundation models come in. These models, they're basically like the engine that powers Cosmos. They can create huge amounts of realistic data like environments, objects, characters, all from scratch. So it's not just about building one virtual world. It's about building a system that can generate an infinite number of virtual worlds.
Whoa. So it's like the AI is not just learning to play the game, it's also learning to create the game.
Yeah, and that's why Cosmos is so revolutionary. It allows us to train AI on a scale that was previously unimaginable, and it makes it much more affordable.
Okay, so we've got AI that can create and AI that can learn and act in these incredibly realistic simulations.
Yeah.
What else did Huang have in store for us?
Well, he also announced something called Project Digits.
Project Digits.
Yeah, and it's essentially like a compact supercomputer specifically designed for developers and anyone who wants to work with AI.
So like regular people, not just giant corporations.
Exactly. This is about democratizing access to AI, putting the power of AI into the hands of individuals, startups, researchers.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because, up until now, a lot of the really cutting-edge AI research and development, it's been happening at these big tech companies, with massive computing resources.
Yeah.
But Huang believes that to really unlock the potential of AI, to solve the big problems facing humanity, we need to make AI accessible to everyone. And Project Digits is a huge step in that direction.
So like if I wanted to, I don't know, build an AI that could help me, I don't know, write better podcast scripts or something, I could potentially do that with Project Digits.
Yeah. Potentially. And that's kind of the point, right? To give everyone the tools they need to explore and experiment with AI, to find new and innovative ways to use it. Because Huang believes that in the very near future, if you're using a computer for work, in any profession, you're going to need this kind of AI power.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
It is. But I think he's right. I mean, look at how much the internet has transformed our lives in the past few decades. AI has the potential to be even more transformative. And the sooner we all start wrapping our heads around it, better. But
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, though, if everyone has access to this level of AI, are there risks we need to think about?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a big question. I mean, like any powerful technology,
Absolutely.
it can be used for good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the potential downsides
Yeah.
of, making AI so accessible?
Well, I mean, one concern is definitely the potential for misuse, right? I mean, imagine if someone with bad intentions gets their hands on, a really powerful AI.
Right.
It could be used to spread misinformation, to manipulate people, even to cause harm. So it's crucial that as we develop these technologies, we also think about safeguards, ethical guidelines to make sure that AI is used for good. And then there are also concerns about, job displacement.
Oh, right. I mean, if AI can do more and more tasks that humans currently do, what happens to all those workers?
Yeah, that's a tough question, and there's no easy answer. But I think it's important to remember that throughout history, technological advances have always led to some job displacement, but they've also created new jobs,
Hmm.
new industries. So the challenge is to make sure that we're preparing people for the jobs of the future, that we're investing in education and training.
Yeah, so people can adapt.
Exactly, adapt to this new AI-powered world.
Okay, so AI is becoming more creative, more capable, and more accessible. What does all this actually mean for our everyday lives? Like, how will this AI revolution actually impact us, you and me, the average person on the street?
Well, I think Huang said it best when he said that AI will touch every aspect of our lives, just as the internet did.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
So let's think about some concrete examples. First, how we work. AI will likely automate many tasks, freeing up humans to focus on more creative, strategic work. It'll also help us to analyze data, make better decisions, and be more productive overall. Then there's transportation. We've already talked about self-driving cars, but think about the implications beyond just getting from point A to point B.
Right.
AI-powered traffic management systems could reduce congestion, make our commutes faster and safer, and even transform the way we design our cities. Then there's healthcare. AI is already being used to diagnose diseases, develop new treatments, and personalize patient care.
Yeah.
And as AI gets more sophisticated, it has the potential to revolutionize the way we prevent and treat diseases. Education is another area ripe for disruption. AI tutors can provide personalized instruction
Oh, wow.
tailored to each student's individual needs. And AI-powered tools can help teachers to create more engaging and effective learning experiences. And then, of course, there's entertainment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, imagine the possibilities there.
Right. AI-generated music, art, video games, the possibilities are really endless. So basically, everything we do, everything we interact with, has the potential to be touched by AI in some way.
So it's not just about cool gadgets. It's about a fundamental shift in how our world operates. I mean, that's both exciting and a little bit scary, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's exciting to think about all the positive ways that AI can improve our lives, solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Right.
But it's also important to be aware of the potential risks, the ethical concerns, and to make sure that we're developing and using AI responsibly.
Absolutely. So what do you think? I mean, what's the biggest takeaway from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that we're on the cusp of a truly historic transformation. The AI revolution is here, and it's happening faster than most people realize. And whether we're ready for it or not, AI is going to change our lives in profound ways.
So the question is, are we going to be passive passengers on this ride, or are we going to grab the wheel and steer it in the right direction? Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to engage with these ideas now, to start thinking about what kind of future we want to create with AI. This is a really powerful technology with the potential to do a lot of good, but it also has the potential to do a lot of harm. So it's up to us to decide how we're going to use it.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, but I have a feeling this conversation is just getting started. We've only scratched the surface of Huang's vision, and there's so much more to explore.
Absolutely.
But if you're interested in learning more about AI, about the future of technology, and about what it all means for you, I encourage you to keep digging. There are tons of resources out there, books, articles, podcasts, even online courses.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And a lot of them are free, so there's really no excuse not to learn more. Because the future is being shaped right now, and it's up to all of us to participate in shaping it.
Yeah, and I think this whole deep dive on Jensen Huang's keynote, it just makes me wonder, what if we could actually ask him some questions directly, right? What would those questions be?
Ooh, that's a good question for our listeners. If you could ask Jensen Huang one question about the future of AI, what would it be?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, leave a comment, send us an email, tweet us, whatever. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hi.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. The future is waiting.